To find the new leader of the Democratic Party is heating up as party officials gather this weekend in Georgia ahead of tomorrow's vote. The once crowded field for DNC chair is now quickly thinned out, and two frontrunners have emerged. They are Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison and former Labor Secretary Tom Perez. Hillary Clinton, this is worth noting, just released this video on Twitter. She did not endorse any candidate, but said that Democrats need to continue to resist President Trump's policies. Joining me now is Jaime Harrison, chairman of the South Carolina Democratic Party, a former candidate for DNC, who dropped out of the race yesterday and put his support behind Tom Perez. Jaime, I appreciate your being here. In simple terms, what's your pitch? Why Tom Perez?
Thank you, Peter. It's good seeing you. Listen, Tom Perez is a fighter. I mean, he's been fighting for us for years now. He was in the Justice Department in the Obama administration, fighting against voter suppression, fighting against efforts to take away the most important franchise that we have as Americans, our right to vote. He's someone who went into the Labor Department, became secretary, and fundamentally changed the culture of the Labor Department. He's just the best candidate in this field. I've known Keith and so many of the others for a number of years, and they're great Democrats and could be good chairs. But I think we could really have a great chair in Tom Perez.
Let me ask you, Donald Trump pointed out this week that Keith Ellison, Tom Perez's opponent here, was one of the first people to predict his winning the Republican ticket all the way back in the summer of 2015. It turned into a viral moment. Here's a look.
All I want to say is that anybody from the Democratic side of the fence who thinks that, who's terrified of the possibility of President Trump, better vote, better get active, better get involved, because this man has got some momentum, and we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket.
Did the congressman see something, Jaime, that no one else saw? And doesn't this kind of foresight and understanding of the forces behind Trump's victory perhaps bode well for the next Democratic leader?
Well, listen, a lot of us saw the disaster of a Trump presidency going into it, and so it was great for Keith to mention that on air. But, I mean, many of us are saying the things that we knew would happen in terms of if Donald Trump won. Those things are coming to fruition right now. We're at a crossroads here in this country, and the question is, do we go back and go to this bygone era that Donald Trump wants us to go back to, or do we put a path forward? And that's when we get a new chair in the DNC, when we get Tom Perez that is leading our effort, we will build a path to the future for so many working people in this country.
One of the questions right now, Jaime, is what the strategy for Democrats be. Is it all-out war, resistance, the phrase that's become so popular among a lot on the progressive and liberal left right now, or is it try to find points to work with this White House to find potential progress on those issues that benefit Democrats right now? What is your strategy? What should the strategy be?
Peter, we have to resist. This White House doesn't want to work with anybody else. They've proven that by the nominations that they've made. When they put Jeff Sessions at the head of the Justice Department, that told communities of color that we don't really care about what you think. Here's a guy who couldn't even get through the United States Senate to be a federal judge, and you're going to put him in charge of the Justice Department. I mean, you got Steve Bannon in the White House that has the ear of the presidency, the president. I mean, that's pure indication that you don't care about anybody else and that you have an agenda and you're going to move forward with that agenda. Well, you know what, President Trump, let me tell you something. We are going to resist. We're going to push back, and we're going to use every tool in our toolkit to make sure that what your agenda is not successful, because it's not the agenda of the diversity of the American people.
Jaime Harrison, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. We wish you all good luck this weekend, and we'll be watching closely. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.